sake. Don't worry about the rum.
Don't worry about the rum, drink the sake. Well, Blind Willie, take us home.
I'm a whiskey man myself. That's, so I ain't drinking it. Probably some sailor.
There you go. Well, give our random expert. We're going to finish up our show tonight with a game called 185, but before we do that, there's some people we have to thank. First of all of you for coming out. Thank you very much. In the back corner is Rick Zimmer videoing for us. I mentioned Rhonda before. She's in our troupe. She's not in the show tonight. I love her wife Linda, who lets me do all this crazy stuff. And then Big Tommy up there in the Broadway Theater. They let us do this silliness. We're going to have Tommy come on down. Linda, you're going to come up and join us. And we have some other people in the audience. Dave, Gary, and I went to NCT, National Comedy Theater. We learned how to do improv. But CJ and I just recently took a class from a good buddy of ours, and that's Mike Schramm. So we're going to have Mike Schramm join us on the stage. Come on up. Tommy's coming in. Where's Tommy? Now, anybody else who thinks this is easy, you're welcome to come down and join us as well. Come on down. Anytime. Tommy's here. Tommy did it last time. He was great.
I thought Howard wanted to come up.
Howard's going to come up? Howard can do this. Come on up, Howard.
Yeah, Howard.
Now, when this is over, the whole troupe is going to line up at the doors outside because we want to shake each and every one of your hands to say hello and thank you for coming and all that. But in the meantime, we're going to play a game called 185. And the game is the worst puns in the world. Just have a little bell. Where's the bell? Andy, you want to get the bell off the learning board over there? And give a little point or something like that. The points don't matter. And what happens is we're going to ask for a suggestion, and then we're going to tell this terrible, terrible pun, and you're going to love it because we're going to really sell it. That's what's going to make it funny. So, in other words, if I was to say, give me an object, and you said a bicycle, and we said 185 bicycles went into a bar. The bartender says, we don't serve bicycles here. And the bicycle said, I'd like to speak to somebody higher up the chain. So what we need from you in the audience is a large object that would probably just fill up the size of this stage. Some large object.
School bus.
A school bus, 185 school buses. You'll catch on to this real quick, Howard. 185 school buses.
185 school buses walk into a bar. And the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve school buses here. And the school buses said, well, I think we need to drive home our point here.
185 school buses ride into a bar. And the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve school buses here. And the school buses say, I know you're lying because your pupils are dilated.
185 school buses walk into a bar, and bartender says, sorry, we do not serve school buses here. And then a little boy comes up and he says, is it because I'm 7?
185 school buses go into a bar. The bartender says, we don't serve school buses here. And the school buses said, but the wheels on the bus go round.
That was fun.
185 school buses walk into the bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve school buses. And they go, what about the short one? Why, is he special?
185 school buses go to the bar. Bartender says, we don't serve school buses in here. School bus says, but when we pulled up out front, our sign opened and said, stop.
185 school buses walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve school buses here. And the school buses say, what are you, yellow?
185 school buses drive into a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve school buses here. And the school buses say, but you're driving us to drink.
Dave, give us another suggestion.
Oh, okay, let's have a zoo animal, something you might see at the zoo. Kangaroos, 185 kangaroos walk into a bar.
185 kangaroos walk into the bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve kangaroos here. It's because, can you just slip something in my pocket?
walk into a bar. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve kangaroos. And then the kangaroo said, what a box.
185 kangaroos go into a bar, and the bartender says, we don't serve kangaroos here. And the kangaroo said, oh, but the koala bears are okay.
So 185 kangaroos walk into a bar. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve kangaroos here. And the kangaroo says, how about if I go tell Nada?
185 kangaroos hopped into the bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve kangaroos here. The kangaroo said, but we know an Irish drinking song.
Gary, give us another suggestion.
Cool. Let me get something that you would buy at like a department store, like a Target.
Vacuum.
Vacuums, thank you.
I'll get the easy one.
Go.
185 vacuums walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve vacuums here. And the vacuum says, well, that
You have to hang with me here. Okay. 185 vacuums walk into a bar. And the bartender says, sorry, we don't serve vacuums here. And then the vacuum says, what if we blow?
Family friendly.
It depends on how you look at it.
185 vacuums go into a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve vacuums here. The vacuum said, I'm still upright.
So 185 vacuums walk into a bar. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve vacuums here. And the vacuum says, could you just maybe slide one of the bottles into my bag?
You try it now.
Well, no, okay, I was gonna say 180 vacuums walk into the bar, and the bar says, we don't serve vacuums here. And he says, but I changed my bag.
185 vacuums walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve vacuums here. The vacuums say, poser.
105 vacuums roll into the bar. Bartender says, we don't serve vacuums here. That's a real shame because we can really clean up for you.
Mike, why don't you go out and give us a suggestion?
Yeah, let's have a suggestion of something that you have never seen in your entire life. Anything you've never seen in your entire life. You. Mike Strands.
Yeah, okay.
185 Mike Strands walk into a bar and they each say, I'll have a drink. And the bartender says, you got it, I see you here all the time.
Yeah, you
UFOs?
UFO.
Depend on you people.
185 UFOs go into a bar. The bartender says, we don't serve UFOs here. And the UFO says, but I heard your drinks are out of this world.
185 UFOs went into the bar. The bartender said, we don't serve UFOs here. And the UFO said, oh, F you!
185 UFOs walk into a bar. The bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve UFOs here. And the UFO said,
Okay. All right. You have to like been around the 80s to get this. 185 UFOs walk into a bar, and it's not nasty, trust me. And the bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve UFOs here." And then the UFOs say, "Ouch."
185 UFOs walk into a bar. The bartender says, we don't serve UFOs. I didn't come for a drink. Take me to your leader.
185 UFOs land in a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we don't serve UFOs. And the UFO says, but we brought my shrimp.
185 UFOs walk into a bar, and the bartender says, I'm sorry, we do not serve UFOs. And the UFOs say, but we have our ID. Come on, think about it, think about it. Come on.
All right, one last one. Let's have a white-collar profession. Don't say doctor. White-collar profession. Obviously, none of you were white-collar. Lawyer. A lawyer. Oh.
Whoa! They're not funny, they're not funny.
185 lawyers walk into the bar. The bar says, I'm sorry, we do not serve lawyers. Well, in that case, I'll sue you. 185 lawyers walk into a bar. Bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyer says,
I got it. Oh, okay.
I'm going to keep that if it was good.
I get it. 185 lawyers go into a bar, the bartender says, "We don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyer said, "That was brief."
185 lawyers went into the bar, and the bartender says, "We don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyer said, "But we just passed the bar."
185 lawyers walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyers say, "Look, where there's a will, there's a way."
185 lawyers walk into a bar. Bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyer says, "Why? Tell us." And then the bartender says, "You can't handle the truth."
Waited for that?
I don't know, that's all I got.
So 185 lawyers walk into a bar, bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve lawyers," and the lawyer just says, "Wow, I feel like I'm being judged."
185 lawyers walk into a bar and the bartender says, "We don't serve lawyers." And the 85 lawyers say, "I didn't come here for a drink, I came here to sue you about not serving the UFOs."
Yeah.
No, I'm nervous. Now you put me on the spot. 185 lawyers walk into a bar and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve lawyers here." And the lawyers shoot him and take all the money because they're going to hell anyway.
It's just funny because he has that accent. Let's give Tommy a nice round of applause. Thank you. You guys have a good time? We want to say hello to each and every one of you. Again, give a nice round of applause to my lovely wife. And welcome aboard.
We have you on a mailing list, an email list, so if you don't like us, just don't pay attention, but if you want to come, the shows do sell out quickly. Thank you all for coming.